What's up, guys? Ryan Lee back with Financial Freedom Formula Cash Flow Tactics. Guys, I am excited to be talking to you today. If you haven't watched any of these webinars today, before today, today's really going to blow your socks off. Guys, I'm going to show you the math behind the Financial Freedom Formula. I'm going to show you the math and the numbers behind the most powerful strategy, the most powerful tool that you can use in your financial plan. So let's dive right in. Now, guys, this financial freedom formula, this mind map, right? This represents over 10 years and several $100,000 of collective knowledge, money, investments on behalf of myself and the other members of Cash Flow Tactics. And guys, we've dumped it all in here. We really want this to be a step-by-step formula that you can use to walk away from what's not working and to achieve completely different results outside of Wall Street. So I'm going to jump right into it. But if you want access, if you want a copy of this financial freedom formula and get access to all the tools that we've uploaded into this, text cash flow, one word, to 797979, cash flow to 797979, or go to cashflowtactics.com/mind map, and you can get this very same financial freedom formula that we're going through today. Okay, so guys, we're in step number 4. In step number 4, we're talking about the most powerful tool that you can use and implement inside of your financial strategy. Guys like presidents, elected officials, Mike Dillard, myself, several wealthy, Warren Buffett, Disney, who knows? There's so many people that use this, as well as several business owners and entrepreneurs throughout the country. I mean, this is something that works, and it's worked for hundreds of years. This is not a fly-by-the-night strategy, but we're going to start talking about how the cash flow banking strategy works. So we talked about the paradigm shift, the dual goals of saving, and we talked about the money trail. Now, guys, if you didn't watch the money trail, I'm going to build on this today because banks ultimately want your money, and they get it no matter how it works, as we're going to talk about today. And as a result, they give you a sucker, right? Have you ever been to the bank and they give you a sucker to say, thanks for coming in? The reason banks give you a sucker is in the last video, I showed you the math behind the banking strategy and how the guys behind the camera, the guys who understand it, are literally laughing at us, treating us like suckers for putting money into a bank. So today we're going to go through and examine the math and how you can apply the same strategy that banks use in your own financial strategy. So it's the uncommon approach to solving a common problem. And the common problem is all money leads to and runs through banks today, right? I mean, your paycheck, your monthly bills, your rent that you collect on your income properties, whatever it is, it likely runs through a bank. And most money sits in banks until it's ready to be redeployed elsewhere. So Einstein, he says we can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking that we used when we created these problems. Now, the banking industry has been around for a long, long time, and it's morphed and evolved over the years. And today it really is a Ponzi scheme with most of us sitting at the very bottom getting raked over the coals and treated like suckers. And so here's the math behind how we can take what banks are doing and apply it in our own lives. So I'm going to do some of this video on a separate sheet that I can draw on. But think about this today. You really only have 2 options. What if I came to your house today and I gave you a $100 bill and I said, hey, I don't want it, you can have it, right? You would have 2 choices, 2 options of what you could do with that money. You could save the money or you could spend the money. If you chose to save the money, the benefit is your money's going to grow and compound and get bigger. But the downside is now you can't spend it, right? You can't use it for anything. If you choose to spend the money, go out to dinner or something like that, the benefit is you get to use the money today, but the downside is now you can't spend it or now you can't save it and compound it. And we've talked a little bit about all of this. I'm going to draw this out, cash or debt, compound interest. In fact, let's go over there right now. All right, so here's how this works, right? And let's think about, I'm going to use a very, very common expense that most people have in their finances to start off with. So let's say travel. Now, most of what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about how to use this concept to fund assets like real estate. But let's just talk about travel because this is a reoccurring expense. My family and I, we go on vacations every single year and we love it, right? I mean, this year I took my kids to Disney World. My wife and I just got back from the Grand Cayman. We did some scuba diving. We had a fantastic time. But next year, if I want to go on vacation again, what happens is I have to start the whole process all over again. Now, we can use cash or we can use debt for everything that we do. And both of these expenses are both different sides of the same coin, right? This line right here is going to represent a break-even $0 line. And let's say that every year I want to go on a vacation that's going to cost me $5,000, right? So if I'm a cash guy, what I need to do is I need to have a system or a process to save up my cash, right? A little bit this paycheck, a little bit that paycheck, and so on and so forth. And I slowly save up until it's time to go on vacation. Because my money's in a bank, I take my money out of the bank, right? And I go and have a fun vacation. Now, when I get back, I have a lot of great pictures and memories, but I don't have my $5,000 anymore. So if I want to go on a vacation again next year, I got to start the whole process all over again. I go up this proverbial ladder and I come back down it. And this happens for most people over and over and over and over again inside of their financial plan. If it's not travel, it's buying a car every 3 to 5 years. If it's not that, it's funding the holidays every year. I mean, it's over and over and over again. Now, if we don't have the discipline to save our money first, most people just use debt, right? They use a credit card, they go spend the money, go on a great vacation, and then they spend the next amount of time paying back the credit card. But in either case, they end up at $0. And if they want to go on vacation again next time, they've got to do it all over again. And this process happens over and over and over again. Now, what did we say? Our goal is we want to earn compound interest. We talked a little bit about this in a previous video, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it here. But compound interest is nothing more than a function of time, right? If we want the big gains, right? If I were to take this graph and divide it into two different categories, an A side and a B side, which side of the compound interest curve do we want to be on? Well, it's really pretty simple, right? We want our money to have these big astronomical gains that come down here. Most people never ever get that for one of two reasons. They either spend their money, right? Or they lose their money. They spend it or they lose it. And this is the way it works, right? Just as they get the compound interest off the ground, it's time to go on a great vacation. It's a once of a lifetime experience. And so they take their money out, right? They break the compound interest curve. And now if they never spend their money again, there will always be a difference between what they could have had and what they ultimately end up having. And the same goes for a market loss. They put their money in the market takes a downturn, and again, there'll always be an opportunity cost. So what if you could eliminate all of this nuisance, eliminate all of this nuance, and what if you could just have your money compounding and earning your long-term goals, but have the ability to achieve short-term goals as well? What if I took this $5,000, boom, and I put it down here inside of a cash value, maximum funded life insurance policy? We're going to talk a little bit more about how these things work, but here's the math behind a policy loan. When your money is in a life insurance policy, you have unlimited opportunity that you control 100% if your policy is set up the right way, that you can access and leverage the value of your policy. Now, I'm going to break this video into two different sections so you can see exactly how this works. But when you take a policy loan, it works unlike anything else out there. You can actually take a policy loan, go on a great vacation, right? You just drop the $5,000 in, we put it into a policy as cash value. You go on this great vacation, do exactly what you wanted to do. You come back with great memories, great opportunity, but then what you do is you pay back your policy loan that you're in control of to the insurance company, but the entire time that your policy loan was outstanding, we didn't break compound interest. Now, in the beginning, this little teeny difference here looks like a little teeny difference, and it is. It's not a huge difference, right? The difference between being at $0 break even and not breaking compound interest might only be a couple $100 in the beginning. But what if you could then take that same $5,000 and use it over again next year? Go on another great vacation. And what about the year after that? Go on yet another great vacation. And what about the year after that? Go on another great vacation. You kind of see where this is going, right? Every time you do this, you never break the compound interest curve. And at the end of the day, you're going to achieve your long-term goal of having your money compounding and growing. But imagine all of these short-term vacations and all of these short-term things that you were able to do with your money along the way. What if this wasn't just vacations, right? What if we use this to buy rental homes? And we're going to talk a lot about that going forward. But here's the benefit, guys. When I first got out of college, my wife and I, we had these really big plans that we were going to travel the world and do all these great things until it slapped me in the face that, man, it's hard, right? Every time I spent $1, even if I had it, I felt guilty because every time I spent it, I felt like I was getting myself trapped and having to work longer and longer and harder because I wasn't investing my money. I would never get out of the rat race and I felt trapped. Now, this came to a literal head in my marriage. I'll share that story with you on the next video. But what I have the ability to do today is I have the ability to use this. My money can achieve a short-term goal of taking my family on a vacation. And this is ultimately what I want out of my finances anyway. I want to create value and experiences for my family and those I love. but I can also achieve my long-term goal of having my money compounding and growing and one day producing tax-free income for me. What if your money could do that? What would your life be like? Imagine the possibilities. They are literally infinite and endless. So guys, on the next video, I'm going to show you the math behind how all of this works. I wanted you to see the theory first, and then we're going to pick up the math side of things. So join me there. Now guys, again, if you want to get your own copy of this financial freedom formula, I'm going to go back over here now. I walk through all of this with you, and then I actually go through the math. We're going to go through the math of a policy loan on the next one. So if you want your own copy of this financial freedom formula, text cash flow to 797979. And guys, we'll see you on the next webinar. Have a good day.